I'm going to kick it over to Alan Kamei with AT&T. Alan, welcome and thank you.
Thank you so much, Roseanne and SAMCEDA, for the invitation to join today to talk a little bit about what we do at AT&T. As was mentioned, my name is Ellen Kamei, and so not only do I do external affairs for San Mateo County, I also do it for Santa Clara County. My big challenge today is to talk about 145 plus years in 5 minutes, so wish me luck. Next slide. So just really high level, I thought I'd start out talking about AT&T, who we are. As I said, we're celebrate 145 plus years. We trace our origins back to Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor, scientist, and engineer, who's credited with patenting the telephone. And recently, coming at the start of the pandemic, we were able to contribute $5 billion to bridging the digital divide. I think our industry really shifted and had to meet the need that was placed upon us during that time. And so I'll talk a little bit about that. We cover more than 99% of the United States population. And we'll go to the next slide. So what I really like about our company is we talk about opening the door to greater possibility. And we're doing that in 3 different buckets. So one of them is based off of our AT&T fiber, wanting to make sure that people have safe, reliable connectivity. And we're seeing the industry as well as our federal, state, and local governments looking for that. So we're moving to fiber-based connectivity, really trying to meet the needs of our wireless and nationwide 5G. It's really interesting to think about how many people do not have a landline anymore. Everything is based off of wireless. So we are working to make sure that we're meeting that need. And then FirstNet, we're empowering our public safety individuals on our platform. As a result of the unfortunate events of 9/11, we AT&T were awarded a FirstNet contract, and that's on what's called Band 14, and making sure that our public safety officials, first responders, as well as our government entities have a line completely dedicated to them to make sure that they can answer the call and get connected. Next slide. Another thing we're trying to do, so talking about expanding access. So we are committing over $145 billion in our infrastructure across the country. I think one of the things that's been changing in our industry is the opportunities for public-private partnerships. And some exciting news is that AT&T applied for some grants through the CPUC, the California Public Utilities Commission, and we were recently selected in August as the provider to bring fiber into 3 different counties, San Bernardino, Riverside, and into San Mateo County. So I will drop into the chat and share with Roseanne a little bit more about where we'll be going. We actually work directly with the county as well as several cities to make sure that we put forward a project that was based on the areas where people were seeing the digital divide most greatly. Next slide. So another thing we're trying to do is encourage adoption. So 2 of the programs we're trying to support through our corporate social responsibility is our support of digital literacy programs. We are partnering with libraries all across the country for free access to, I would say, like a whole suite of different options, and that's for youth all the way into adulthood. It includes workforce training as well, and it's in multiple languages. So no matter what the need is, we're trying to make sure that people are getting that. The next is our device distribution. So we also know that it's not just about getting people connected, it's to make sure that they have a device to do so more than just their phone. And we have worked closely with many of you to make sure that we are distributing laptop devices through our nonprofit partnerships in San Mateo County. Next slide. And I wanted to end on something else that's very exciting from the AT&T front. We have connected learning centers that we have worked on opening up all across the country. We have opened over 30, and we're looking to open one in San Mateo County coming soon. Again, that's based off of direct input. Once that is more officially announced, I'll be able to share that location. But we have been partnering with Boys and Girls Clubs of America to partner with them to make sure that people can go to their centers and have high quality fiber connection at their site. So this is just a brief snapshot of what we're doing. It's a challenge to talk about in 5 minutes, but look forward to the conversation. Thank you.
How does your company support our small and medium-sized businesses?
So I'll talk about two ways. I would say one way AT&T is supporting our small and mid-sized business is just understanding how critical they are to the building blocks of business. And so AT&T has a program called our Global Supply Chain Supplier Diversity Program, where people are encouraged to see if they can be one of our suppliers. So I'll be sure to drop that into the chat because more than half of our suppliers at AT&T are considered and qualify as small businesses. And I think that is part of why a lot of our companies are members of SAMCEDA, Chamber of San Mateo County, and others, is how do we generate business not only for our companies, but those who are the backbone. And as was mentioned, we understand that those are our small and mid-sized businesses. And then looking to all of you in terms of being able to figure out where the need is. I think what was a silver lining of COVID is we received feedback from our small businesses on the changes that AT&T could make. And so I have been working on reaching out to SAMCEDA and the Chamber of San Mateo County in that they are able to invest in programs that maybe we aren't able to in terms of our funding side, but they are. So being able to use all of as a conduit, which is great when we're talking about telecommunications. And then also wanted to share, over 40% of our workforce at AT&T are union members, and wanting to make sure that we are supporting folks with a strong livable wage are things that we're trying to do to support our business community. Thanks.
What is something that our communities may not be aware of in your corporate philosophy as you engage locally?
One of the things that has been impressed upon me since joining AT&T is a hyper awareness of engaging locally on bringing solutions. So I mentioned our commitment to closing the digital divide across California, and how we've been doing that is partnerships. I think all of us on this call know each other, have had to work collaboratively together in how we do that, because we are seeing that it's a partnership. So since 2021, AT&T committed the $5 billion. We opened the 10 connected learning centers, and the company is committed to really putting that into perspective. That's 25 million people that we're trying to make sure have affordable high-speed internet for this upcoming decade. So I feel like maybe that is something that not everyone knows, is we want to make sure that we have kind of boots on the ground to meet the need.
Why do each of you work for AT&T, Crown Castle, Comcast, and Verizon?
I had spent, over a decade working in the public sector before joining AT&T. And when I joined the public sector, I really had wanted to help people who may not have a voice for themselves. And when I pivoted to AT&T, I really connected with our mission of connecting people to greater possibility. And I love that. I felt that was such a perfect kind of marriage between the public sector and the private, in that trying to make sure that we are helping folks wherever they are and meet them where they at. And I have seen our company go through many different iterations just in my 5+ years of the company. And I think that that is something that also makes each day interesting working for AT&T. I think, people may have a question and it's a different business unit, but I'm happy to jump in, learn more. And that's what I love about working here is being able to help others, but also each day learning a little bit more about this company.
What is one thing that you want everyone to remember today?
Well, I hope attendees will remember AT&T is your community partner. And today's conversation is just extending the building of our relationship. I would say AT&T also hears you. We hear your community. And I think one example that I'd like to share is when we saw earlier this spring with the loss of the Affordable Connectivity Program, that we really needed something in its place. And so AT&T has a program called Access. I'll be sure to drop it into the chat so that people can have low cost internet. We know how the partnerships with a lot of the nonprofit organizations within San Mateo County, we're working on getting people signed up for ACP. But without it, we have the Access program. We also have been working with our Native and tribal communities. And so we have been opening some of the connected learning centers that I shared earlier on tribal land, and understanding that it's not just about living in maybe more suburban places, but it's really how are we talking those rural who don't have access at all. And I know that there are places in San Mateo County that struggle with access. And so your feedback is noted, and look forward to working with you on making sure that we get out there as well. Thanks, Roseanne, for the conversation.